Welcome to the Ebony Road Players podcast. I'm your host, Edye Evans-Hyde, singer, performer, and founder of Ebony Road Players. As a Black theater company in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Ebony Road Players strives to inspire, educate, and engage the cultures of our community. In this podcast, we take a deeper dive into the topics and issues surrounding the stories that we tell. So let's jump right into some meaningful dialogue and celebrate the diverse communities that we share. Welcome, everyone, to the next Ebony Road Players podcast. We are so happy to be with you today, and I have two very good friends with me. Julianne Howe-Bouwens, the actor, if you've ever seen her in a show, and her wonderful husband, Brian. I really thank them for coming in and just kind of telling us their story today. I want to tell everyone this series is centered around our West Michigan Loving Day celebration, where we observe the Loving versus Virginia Supreme Court case of 1967. If you guys don't know that, which a lot of people don't, it was one of the last civil rights pieces that struck down laws that criminalized interracial marriage. And what's amazing about that, it was just 1967 that this happened. And I was 10 years old, knew nothing about it till about 20 years ago. And it's just such an important piece because the whole reason around civil rights was to have people be able to be together in the same space. And yes, sometimes out of that relationship do happen. And I always want to say, outside of being able to vote, that this was really one of the biggest pieces that there was, because they did not want that to happen, people who were against civil rights. So what we're doing is interviewing people and about their relationships and their multiculturalism, where they met and all those different things. So I appreciate everyone being on this and learning this. At the very end, I'm going to talk about some of the programs that we are doing for Loving Day. But before that, hi, couple, my wonderful couple. I gave you guys a quote that I thought we would start with. And then I'm going to let you jump in. And yes, I will not cut you off with me talking too much, okay? So the quote is, believe it or not, from Malcolm X, from his autobiography. Quote, "I believe in recognizing every human being as a human being, neither white, black, brown, or red. And when you are dealing with humanity as a family, there's no question of integration or intermarriage. It's just one human being marrying another human being, or one human being living around and with another human being." Unquote. And that is from Malcolm X. And I thought that was so intriguing for him to make that quote, because I think a lot of people misunderstand Malcolm X in general. But I thought it was a great way to start. So, hey, you guys, tell me, you want to jump in about this quote a little bit? Did you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, you know, when you see people, first of all, thank you so much for having us on. We really appreciate that. This is super cool that you're doing it. You know, it's interesting when you're in a relationship and, you know, what people see from the outside is different. Like, I think people expect it to be like, oh, do you guys have lots of fights? Or, you know, is there tension? And it's like, no. You know, we wouldn't have gotten together if it was going to be like a big fight and there would be a lot of tension and stuff. It's very easy. It's an easy relationship. And yeah, just like that quote says, it's not even about integration and everything. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I just look at it, like I say, the heart, condition of the heart. You know, when I think of human beings, you know, if we're, you know, and you can just tell the aura of a person and how they light up a room, you know. And of course, being involved with her and her talents that she has, I was awestruck, you know, just meeting her. for the first time. So she's been a blessing, and yes, we have differences because, we are different people, but we come together at the end of the day. Hey, if I've erred her, I ask her forgiveness, and she does the same for me too. So that's greatly appreciated, and how God has blessed us, we've been together, wow, 17 years now. Yeah. So.
And we just have, I think, mutual respect.
Sure.
I think it's respect and love.
You bet.
Yep. And it's worked.
No, it has. You bet. It sure has.
So, I feel that way with me and my husband. It was never about race. It was about music. We met doing music together, and we had been working together for so long, we realized we were kind of dating too, I guess. We didn't, all of that was merging together at the same time. And it was like, well, I mean, we're together. Everybody knows we're together. We just, it's not a big deal. And this is going to be our 44th anniversary.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Huge. But tell me, you guys, it's one thing you've been married now for a while. How did you meet? I have pictures of your wedding and everything in my phone somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, that you have given me in the past for Loving Day, when I did a whole barrage of photos of couples and families. And it's the most gorgeous, beautiful picture. I think it might be of you guys cutting your cake or something. I don't know what it was.
Yes.
But I do have a photo. So tell me, where did you come together? Where did you meet?
I mean, funny enough, music brought us together too.
Yeah, it was music.
Karaoke.
Yeah.
I remember this story. Oh, everyone, you need to hear this story. I do remember this. Go ahead.
Want to go ahead?
Okay, many moons ago, over 17 years ago, I was working in the military complex down in Lansing, Michigan for the Army National Guard. And I would come up here on bouts to see my kids because I had been divorced, and I had to make sure I was checking in on my kids and that. And I happened to stop at the Bistro, which is on 44th Street there, over in Kentwood. And my friend Brian and his wife Mary own a karaoke. They're hosting karaoke. They own the equipment and such. And I like to sing, so I was out there singing, and here the oddity was that I was with somebody else. I was actually with a gal that I had been dating for 2 years. Okay. She was a Black woman from Lansing area. She was also in the military, and I seen her come in, and I listened to her sing, and what was it? You want to take it from here?
So I didn't really think anything of it. I came in by myself because I was just doing catering, and the karaoke host invited me to sit with everybody. And so I'm like, okay, cool, sweet. So we have a bit of an age gap between us too. And so, I mean, I really didn't think anything of it. So I sang, and it was nice that they invited me to sit with them. And they left, and I was like, oh, okay, bye. And apparently y'all had a fight.
Yep. I was accused of knowing her before I actually knew her, and I go, wait a minute. But I stood up at the bistro, and I said, I know, but I could know her if I wanted to. And the gal said, that's it, take me home. So I had to drive her back to Lansing, and it was a quiet ride. And then I just turned my car around and came back to catch the end of her show.
Back to Kentwood from Lansing.
Yeah.
And so we kind of just we would see each other at karaoke.
Yeah.
And it was really cute because at one point he asked me, so, what are you doing on Saturday? I'm like, I'm working. What are you doing on Friday? I'm working. What are you doing right now?
Oh, talking to you.
Nothing. Like, the bar is closing. It's 2:00 in the morning. And so I'm like, I guess I'm not doing anything now, but sure. I was I've always been a bit of a night owl. So we ended up going to the bitter end the 24-hour coffee shop.
Yes.
And we attempted to play games.
We played chess. I think I was showing you how to play chess, right? Did you know how to play?
No, I was teaching you,
Oh.
and you were not paying attention because he kept looking at me, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well.
Right.
But
I was distracted.
but it was just cute because, like, ever since then, we never really declared that we're together. We just, like you guys, we just work.
Yeah.
So
We merged.
we
Yeah.
were dating for 2 years, got married. We celebrated our 15-year anniversary in
Oh,
January.
Sure. Yeah.
That was wonderful. Oh my gosh. So you knew, Brian, you knew. I mean, it was like, yeah, I'm missing something here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it was so weird because I was with the other gal. We had dated for 2 years. And I just thought the other gal knew me better than I felt it was like a dare or a challenge.
Yeah.
And that's when I and me being in the military, when you challenge me, I will go and we will go. So I did. She lost out. She called me later, and my nickname was Bookie. She used to call me Bookie. She goes, "Well, Bookie, I didn't think you would take the bait." I says, "Well, you pushed the maybe, baby." So
Julianne says, you just can't mess with me. I'm sorry.
yeah,
She's,
yep, Sasha Fierce here.
Yes. I don't know. I think that's a little Black woman attitude that,
Mhm.
Just
I found out later, just in talking with some other friends, that they were surprised that there wasn't an actual physical altercation, like bringing a Black woman to another Black woman's table.
Right.
And so, I mean, like I said, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought people were being nice to me. But
right. Yeah, and that's that's kind of what I think I went through with Michael. We were just friends, and we were just working in a band together and that type of stuff. But there was 2 other ladies that I think who may have wanted to date Michael, and they were white, 2 girls, and hopefully they won't listen to this. I won't even any names, but they kept coming up to me and telling me to tell him to be careful of each other. And I'm like, what? We're just friends. So I have a feeling they saw something that I didn't see. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, you never know. It's amazing. So let me ask you this, because I know, Julianne, you have, even your outside of marriage, were you adopted? Is that so tell me, can you, and I know this could be a book, probably you could write, but can you tell me a little bit about that experience and where you grew up, and how did that relate? Did you feel comfortable with being around anyone, or did this take you a while to figure out that it was okay for whatever direction you were going to go in?
So I was born in Haiti and adopted by missionaries. And so I came to the United States and became a citizen when I was 18 months old.
Okay.
So that's really all that I've known. So my parents were Caucasian missionaries. My dad was a pharmacist. My mom was a nurse. They had 2 kids already who were 9 and 11 years older than me. And, I guess I am just incredibly blessed. And so I did spend some time in my life like, oh my gosh, my mom didn't want me, or, it's like weird being the only Black person wherever I go. But I think I grew out of that pretty quickly, and just realized how amazing God is, because I would probably be dead if I was still in that country. I would be an orphan. I was surrendered. So, I wasn't going to be able to be with my mother regardless, my birth mother regardless. And so just the fact that this family was willing to embrace me and raise me as their own, like I would say it was probably like up to maybe middle school when you can choose how you look at things. So I can choose to think, oh, woe is me. But also I have this amazing life I never would have had otherwise. And I wasn't sure about dating. I was like, do I have to marry a Black person? Like, do I have to marry a white person? I really didn't know any Black people. I went to DeWitt schools just north of Lansing. And I think there were five or six non-white people at my school. So I did have some interesting experiences growing up. I went to the thing that stands out in my mind the most is the YWCA, that was very diverse, but the Black kids did not like me because I talked white, and the white kids didn't like me because I was a Black person who talked white, but they were fine with each other. So they all got along. And I was literally just the odd person out. And I'm just like, it was just a horrible experience. Somebody actually like hit me with a hockey stick.
Oh.
And I was just like, I can't go back there. So I cried and cried, and my mom didn't take me back there because I was really looking forward to that experience. And so it has been very strange. I didn't date a lot of people. Because even the college I chose to go to, Cedarville University, that was, I probably should have thought about the diversity, but I didn't at the time. I wanted to go to a Christian school that had a beautiful theater. Those are literally the two things that
and that's all you needed.
Yes. So I stopped looking. I was just like, screw this. Dating is strange and people are weird, so I'm just going to go about my life. And that's literally when I met Brian, like a couple of weeks later after making that decision.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
So that was, I still say that was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Sometimes, divine intervention, just kind of worked for both her and I, Yeah.
Trying to find how you fit into something is always, and I know that's a big deal with, I think, people in general. Everyone's trying to figure out how they fit in and what sides they should be on. And I'm sure, Julianne, you as, a Black woman in a space that nobody looks like you has to be one of them. But I think it's something that everyone goes through. And you were lucky that you said junior high, you decided this is who you were and it didn't really matter. That's pretty early. In junior high, people are even like still trying to figure that all out. I think that's incredibly mature, because I am just figuring out who I am probably in the last maybe 20 years or so. And I'm up there in age. Because people want to put you in a box. They want you to be a certain way. And I think that's what's really cool about having events like Loving Day, where everyone can come and just be who they are and be themselves. And I also say it's really cool about theater, where people and music and arts in general, people come to it who they are. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Brian, so with you dating a Black woman before you met your wonderful wife.
Sure.
Was that, did you have problems with that thought, or what? Were you open-minded to it? Did people?
Yeah,
When you do it, what is your experience with it?
Oh, Lordy. I seen the beauty in a Black woman. I seen the beauty, and whether it was Jules or the gal that I dated before her, I've always been intrigued, even in school as a kid.
Okay.
With, there was a girl, there was two Black gals in school that we'd always flirt with each other, and never take the bait, but I was always, and well, my mother, she was always like confused, like, well, she thought I should stay within my race. And I said, well, Mom, a woman is a woman, regardless of her color. I said, and so with that culminating through school and stuff, I just knew that, yeah, at first I was married before. I was married to a white woman before, we had children together. And so it was when I had the divorce, that's when I thought, well, you know what, now's my time. I can venture out.
Yeah.
I can go beyond the fence line this time, go over to the other pastures and see what's over there. And so here,
And be who you are, right?
Yeah. I I didn't want to deny that. And my mother, and when she met her, she fell in love with her. She says, oh my gosh, she is just a real genuine sweetheart. And I said, yeah, Mom, you're gonna love her, I'm telling you. And so my mom, before she passed, she died in 14, right? But Julianne got to know her for at least 6 years of that time frame. So, and my mother was just very happy with who I got to be with, and just seeing that Julianne was genuine.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think the family aspect of things is one of the things that you worry about a lot. I know because I was 22 when I got married. I'm sure everyone thought, you're insane. What are you doing? But then on the other side, they knew that I loved people. I mean, it's just like that Malcolm X quote is, I love to be around people. And the people I was around were a lot of white musicians. I was in a rock band for a little while. And my first band was a polka band. So, I had no choices. It's just, that's, for me to be in a polka band. And I tell people that, I said, yeah, we had a Portavox player, and they were doing, polkas, roll out the barrel and all those things. And I brought to them some Earth, Wind and Fire. So they had to figure out how to play some Earth, Wind and Fire on, a Portavox.
Nice.
But we did it. And, it's kind of the beauty for me, and maybe the same way for you, is to have that opportunity to be around so many different people. You're open to people coming to you, and you're not afraid of. I've never been the woman who's afraid to venture out and be around people who are not like me. And I don't know if that's the same way you feel, but that's always been exciting to me.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like we're both in industries where you're around different people. So being in the military, people from all walks of life.
Oh, yeah.
And then doing theater, especially in just in Michigan. It's been amazing, the people that you become family with doing a show. And when I was very blessed in college to get to travel. So I was doing a singing tour to Mexico. We were in England. My mom is from my Nana and Papa were from England and Scotland. So we got to go visit over there. And so we've both done some world traveling.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think that what people need to understand is you can't make assumptions about people, because no matter where you're from, you're going to have similarities and you're going to have differences. And it's about listening, taking in other people's stories, not assuming. So yeah, that's been encouraging.
Sure. It doesn't hurt to go the extra mile to show compassion, empathy for somebody. I try to kill people with kindness, I really do, and because there's too much hate out here.
And I feel like right now, this is the perfect time to be really expressing those views, because there is a lot of hate and a lot of disdain and a lot of pushing people back to not telling their histories. Our next play that we're doing for Loving Day is called The Alabama Story. And it is about a banned children's book in 1959, a true story about Alabama banning a little children's book called The Rabbit's Wedding. And it's about two little rabbits, one's white and one's black, and they're playing with each other in the, in the out and about, and playing games with each other. And they find out that they really do love each other, and they decide they're going to get married. So Alabama decided that that was propaganda, and it was encouraging interracial relationships. And the fact that this is a true book, a true story, is so appropriate now, because it's really causing people not to want to learn history, not to want to learn about each other, and keeping that separation going. And I feel like people who are in interracial relationships, multicultural families, they really do have the abilities to go out, like you said, and kill people with kindness, and show the love that you can have for each other and for other people. And traveling, oh my gosh, traveling is like the number one way to do that. And I think we have a lot of people who don't travel. I had a chance to sing 4 months in Shanghai.
Wow.
Now, never thought I'd go to China. The furthest thing in my mind was to be in communist China, because I've just heard so many things. But it was a gig and I took it, and oh my gosh, I learned so much. How kind people are, how we all love the same music. They even hired me to teach English at an elementary school for the time I was there. I was there for 4 months. And I learned, when I hear all these things about China, oh, China this, China that, I'm like, the people I was around, they would hold my hand when I was walking down, we'd go out together and they'd hold my hand. I felt like I learned so much about humanity in general.
Sure.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And so I always encourage people to, be around people who are not like you, get to know who people are. And then I hope I can always kind of push that narrative, because there's a lot of people wanting to push back on it. Just amazing. Yeah. So you guys, I'm trying to figure out some questions I want to, you know what? Let's talk about your arts engagement. Now, Brian, you said you sang, huh? I don't,
Yes.
I haven't heard that yet. I need to find out where you are and go check you
Sure.
out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still doing karaoke stuff?
I just came from 2 events last night. I was down at 84th Street at a roller skating rink, and we were doing karaoke out there. And then after that ended from 7 to 11, I went down to the PlayStation on the other side of town to meet her. And we sang together at the PlayStation.
Oh, I love it.
So
when we were dating, we had a place to karaoke every night of the week.
Literally.
And so we were living our lives, doing our things. Sometimes there'd be a karaoke contest here and there. Then we were just like, we can't afford this anymore.
Yes.
You can easily spend especially with 2 people, it's like, this is like $60 a night.
Nice.
So we need to pare this down.
Yeah. But it's fun. I mean, it's your thing,
Yeah.
Finding that thing that keeps you guys together is really
exactly.
Is
Well,
really
that's
awesome.
it. Yeah.
And we actually, speaking of karaoke, so back in the day, there were contests that were happening. And so we would do, some of those. And when we were thinking about getting married, we got married in 2 weeks. We needed to have this quick wedding because he was going to get deployed. And so, we planned this wedding in 2 weeks. And I was like, I don't know how people do this for months and months and years getting ready for a wedding. I was like, I quit caring after a while. I'm like, let's just get this done. Sure. But speaking of the karaoke contest, I ended up getting into the finals of some karaoke contest. It had to do with Bowling Alleys of America or something.
Right.
And I went to the regionals in Detroit. It was 3 states. I won that one. And the week he was being deployed was the week that I was supposed to go to Florida.
To the
Nationals. And there was 10 of us at the Nationals. Oh, and I was just like, honey, I mean, that was such a tough choice. I'm like, I will leave it up to you. I would love to go do this, of course, obviously, but you know, it's also important for me to be there to send you off.
Right.
What did you say?
I said, honey, don't worry about me. I said, you go win that contest. I said, I'll be okay. I got all my buddies here on this aircraft. We won't be lonely. We'll be, I'll be thinking of you. So she went down there, and
I
she
won.
won.
Yep.
She won. She won $5,000. She won $5,000. She won Nashville, Tennessee. They had her come down to cut a CD, and they punched out 300 CDs for her, and with her face and everything on it. I was selling them to people overseas. I was overseas in Iraq, and I was selling to like people that were protecting our base. Like there were Rwandans and stuff that were there protecting our base. So I would sell them these, and they'd look at me and they go, "This is your wife?" Because they're black and they're looking at me, and I go, "Yeah, it's my wife." And they go, "Oh," so they'd buy that. I'd sell them. The CDs were like $10. I sold them, and I'd send her back home the money. I said, "Here, this is yours. You earned it, not me."
Wow. And I was doing it as a fundraiser for Haiti for the hospital that my folks were at. So we collected that money and sent a couple of $100 to.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. I had pictures of her up on my wall in my little trailer, and the guys would come in, and they go, "Boy, you got a beautiful wife," and they'd always kid me because they knew how young she was and how old I was, and I go, yeah, I get it, guys. I go, if you should be so lucky as me.
Right. So there's you've got a little international fame over there.
I guess.
She sure did. Yep. They loved her music.
And then it was cool because the next year we ended up being able to judge the competition. So even though he couldn't go with me that year, because I could bring someone with me, the following year they flew us out there. We were able to judge the contest, and we were in Vegas. So we made that our basically our honeymoon. So
everything was paid for.
Jealous. That's amazing. That's an amazing story. And I think that, it's little things like that just so brings people together, and what great memories for not only the two of you, but for others as well. That, I love it that you don't have to be caught up sometimes in what people put on us, being an interracial couple, because you have your thing, you have your fun, you have your, and I have to say, I think, Julianne, the first time I saw you, I think you were in a show at Actors Theater. I think.
Going to St. Ives?
Going to St. Ives?
Yes.
The 2-person cast?
Yes, that's the first time I'd seen you.
Wow.
And I remember, because, I'd done a bunch of theater, but I was like, who is this? Who is this woman? You were just amazing in that part. And then I have done, we did Lines together, which almost killed me. That show almost killed me. Oh my gosh. That was so much work. But it was a good show. It was a really good show. And they've done it again. I don't know, were you in the second part, the iteration of that?
Yes.
Okay. They did it at Wealthy Theater?
Yeah.
It was a great show. And then of course you've done Colored Girls with us with Ebony Road Players.
That was great.
So we definitely want to get you involved again. Anyway, I know you are busy. You are everywhere. I heard your last show was amazing, and I did not get a chance to come and see it. But yeah, I heard it was amazing. And
it was definitely it was cool because it was a professional theater. So we were at Farmers Alley in Kalamazoo, and it was insane because it was just everything just kept selling out. But it was a Black show, but a Black funeral. And so our big goal was like, this is a piece for Black audiences. And so we kind of wish there was a little more opportunity for people to see it, just because everything kept selling out. Like Farmers Alley's patrons just like snatched up all the tickets. But we did a couple of additional performances. And so we did have some nights where there was much more diversity in the audience. And so I love that. I think we need more of that even in our little area, which that's something that you're doing. And so I really admire that.
Yeah, we're trying, because there hasn't been any consistency in doing Black shows. No, unfortunately, the show that I'm doing now is mainly a white cast, but it's the subject matter of it. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that Black people will come and understand that how important this piece of history is and how important it is now. We're getting a lot of librarians interested in what's going on, because they're being attacked so much with the books that they are having in their possession. People are coming in and asking, do you have this book, and that type of stuff. So the Kent District Library is collaborating with us, and the public museum is collaborating with us, and we're having our Loving Day celebration for families at the Children's Museum. So people kind of know that this is needed, and we're hoping we can continue to do that kind of programming so that it's multicultural, but it's also really inviting Black people to come and hear some of their narratives that they want done too. So congratulations on that particular show, because that's definitely what is needed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you both for coming in. I want to leave you, I don't want to keep you too long, but I want to give you an opportunity to, if you've got anything else that you want to say. I think I've asked all the questions I wanted to ask, mainly about your background. Brian, you are from Lansing particularly, or?
No, I was born and raised here in Wyoming, Michigan. I went to Godwin schools half the time, and the other half, then I went to Kelloggsville, graduated from there.
Okay, all right. So you're from here. Local
kid, grew up here, was a bag boy at Myers, making $1.80 an hour back in the day in the 70s. I always wanted to serve in the military because my father served during World War II, my brother during the Vietnam era. I went in myself, and then I sent my son to the Air Force. And so with that, it's just, I feel that I want to contribute to my nation, the country, as a whole. And so I was proud to serve for over 30 years, retired 9 years ago from it. And I would do it all again. I would get back in the uniform if they need me. If my country needs me, I'm here.
Yeah. Your country needs you right here, right now.
Right.
We're having as many issues as anybody else is, I think. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate you both. So can I ask you when you graduated from high school?
Sure. I graduated back in 1978.
Okay.
I graduated in 2001.
Well, I'm worse. I graduated in 1975. So there we go. I went to Creston High School.
Sure. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, we're close.
Yeah.
You bet we are.
I'm the old lady here. So.
Mature, like fine wine.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks, Julianne. That's why I like you.
That's right.
Well, I just turned 40 and I wore a tiara. I went all over. I'm just like, you know what? It is a blessing to get older because not everybody gets to. And so we have to look at it as a positive thing. And so I'm hoping, I don't know, that might be a passion of mine that comes out where it's just like, we have to celebrate, we aren't lying about our ages. We're loud and proud about it. So
we all should do that anyway, because we have so much wisdom, so much to give. And even though young people, they think they know more about some of us old folks, we still have something to share.
You bet.
Absolutely.
You bet.
Thank you both. Go ahead.
We can all learn from each other. I always tell the youngins too, you know what? You've got something to offer me.
Yes.
I know you do. And we have feedback, and that's great. That's what I love about it. I walk and talk with them,
Yep. And we all need to do that with everyone.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
I appreciate you both so much for letting me just throw some questions at you and share your story. And I hope you guys are able to come celebrate with us for Loving Day, either at the show or, stop by to the event at the Children's Museum, have some childlike fun. But I appreciate you both, and we will talk again soon.
We will.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right.
Yes.
Love you both.
Love you
Love
too.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Edye.
Thank you for listening to the Ebony Road Players podcast. Creating theater with a purpose is our mission, and that is not possible without people like you. We appreciate you joining us for this podcast and for being a part of our diverse community. To view the video version of this episode and gain access to exclusive Ebony Road Players content and perks, join our community on Patreon at patreon.com/Ebony Road Players. In the words of Zora Neale Hurston, quote, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you," unquote. If you have a story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or our website, ebonyroad.org. And we look forward to continuing the conversation next time on the Ebony Road Players podcast.